It's such an honor and a pleasure to be with a lady who, well, how can I describe her? She's one of the biggest chat show stars in the world. Certainly in the UK, she's massive. In America, everybody loves her. I don't think there's anybody who doesn't like Ricki Lake. Hello.
Hello. How you doing?
I'm very good. How are you?
I'm glad to be live in New York.
Thank you so much for doing this. And I know you're a very busy lady. 2 shows you're recording today. You're everywhere, aren't you? Everywhere around the world.
Yeah, it's strange because in so many countries that I've never even been to, people know me. They know about my family. They know about everything. So it's great. It's great and weird at the same time.
How do you cope with it?
I don't really think about it much. What I really do is focus on my day-to-day. I do the show, 2 shows today, and I have my kids. I go home to be with my family. I'm actually pretty centered and boring in my day-to-day life.
How is your life? Because, as you say, you're a successful mother. You've got 2 lovely kids. You're recording 2 shows a day.
Beyond lovely kids, let me just say. They're genius. They're amazing. And I'm incredibly blessed to have them and to have this job. It's just been an amazing, amazing journey.
It is a wild job as well, isn't it? You have some wonderful stories on your program.
Yes, we do, and they're all real. That's something a lot of shows can't say, but what we show on TV is real people, real Americans talking about real issues and hopefully helping them in the process.
The question I've always wanted to ask is, why do the guests want to come on your program so much and reveal the most innermost secrets about themselves?
I don't know, but do you think the Brits would do it?
I think they're more reluctant.
I think they are too. I mean, I think they're just as, risque as the Americans. I just think the Americans are the ones that open up about it on TV. I think for a lot of reasons, they want to feel like they're not alone. They want to feel like there are other people that can relate to their issues. They feel like I'm a cheerleader for them. I root for the underdog. Maybe some of them want their 15 seconds of fame. I mean, a lot of different reasons, but, we don't pay them. They don't make any money doing our show. So really, it's about, I think first and foremost, they want to feel like they're not alone in their problems.
You've been doing this for years now, and the one thing I've noticed on your show is no matter how angry people get, no matter how upset they are, they still love you, and you can get order like that from them. That's
really nice to hear. I think I can get away with murder. I can ask anything. I mean, we did a whole show on porn yesterday. Porn, not corn. Porn with a capital P. And the fact that I can ask anything, I can sort of smile this smile, and people trust me and relate to me, and so I feel like there's an edge with me that I can actually get people to reveal things that they wouldn't normally say.
Are you a nosy person? Is that your success, that you do genuinely want to know about these people and nothing surprises you?
Definitely. I'm a gossip. I've always been a huge gossip. I've always been the one, not that I necessarily talk behind people's backs, but I love knowing what the dirt is, what's going on with him and that couple. Are they going to break up? I love that stuff. So I think I have a natural curiosity and makes me that much better at my job.
And isn't it great that they pay you to do that?
I know, and they pay me well. Yeah, it's amazing. I mean, I pinch myself every day.
Do you ever worry that one day it will end and that people will stop telling stories, or do you think that it's in our nature that we just want to be on telly, we want to keep revealing time after time, and you will always have guests?
I don't really worry about it. I look at Phil Donahue and I think of his long career. He was on the air for I think almost 30 years. Oprah's been on the air forever. I mean, obviously this will come to an end, but hopefully it'll be my choice at that time to end it. And at that point I'll be ready to do other things with my life. But for right now, I'm happy telling stories on Ricki Lake.
And you're a movie star as well?
Well, in the past. I haven't done movies in a while. I mean, I think my movie days are over or dwindling because my priority is to really give my kids a normal upbringing and to not schlep them on movie sets every 3 months. So for me, and I don't want to worry about my weight and be, having to compete with people that are 10 years younger than me. So I really feel like that part of my life may be history.
Talking about your weight, I mean, that's something that people love you for, the fact that you've stood up and said, I don't care what you think, and you don't. And you do look great, by the way. Can I just say you look lovely?
Thank you, but I do care, actually. I think that's the problem. I think, having always struggled with my weight, it continues to be an issue with me, and I think I can only be honest about it. I can't hide that. But yeah, I feel really good. I just gave birth 8 months ago to a beautiful little boy, and it's been a struggle, but I handle it, and I'm on top of it, and I have to be because I'm on TV twice a day.
Now, I'm the same as you. I mean, I'm obsessed with my weight, trying to keep some. Are you on a permanent diet, or what is your key to success to staying slim?
No, I mean, I try to change it up. I do eat really well. I work out consistently. I'm currently training for this breast cancer 60-mile walk in the fall. So I just try to keep active, and that's running after 2 kids certainly helps.
Now, we're live in New York today. We're doing a program about how New York's got over the adversity of the World Trade Center disaster, if you like, and you're very, very close to the World Trade Center site. What was it like for you around the time of September the 11th?
Well, I live even further downtown than my studio, and we saw the whole thing. I saw the plane hit the building. I was traumatized for a long time. I had nightmares every night. I was with my 4-year-old. I'm sorry to say that we saw way more than we should have. But, it is amazing to see how people bounce back. Children are so resilient. My little one, I was worried about him. I was worried about the psychological effects that it might have on him, and he was handling it much better than I was. I definitely freaked out. And I'm still scared. I am still scared, but I love my city. I think I live in the best city in the world. And my show is here, my life is here, my son is going to kindergarten here next year, and we're here to stay.
Was there ever a point where you considered moving?
Yeah, actually we were supposed to buy a townhouse on September 10th. The day before, we were with my architect and contractor doing the walkthrough for this brownstone that we were buying. We backed out September 12th, simply because we weren't willing to do a 2-year project, a renovation in New York, not knowing, what would happen. But every day I feel a little bit safer. And again, it's amazing how incredible the New Yorkers have been, and tourists and everybody. It's brought everybody that much closer together, and I know it sounds like a cliche, but it really has been true. And I love living in New York. I love living in downtown, and just as far as I'm concerned, it is the greatest city in the world.
A couple of questions. How did you feel when you saw that the planes going to the Trade Center? I mean, we could never predicted it. We've never seen anything like it before. What was the first thing that went through your mind?
Well, we ran up to our roof. When the first building hit, we looked out our window. We have a view of downtown. We looked out our kitchen window, and immediately we thought it was an accident, the first plane. So we went up to the roof, and our 4-year-old asked to come, and so we went together. And my husband got his camera, and we have shots of the second. We were up there, and I saw the second plane coming, flying over the Hudson, because we have like a 360 view. And I started screaming, "Oh my God, there's another plane! Oh my God, Rob, there's another look, there's another!" And then it hit, and he has pictures like you would not believe of the impact and everything. And my husband was extremely calm. I was on the ground on our roof screaming my head off. I forgot that my 4-year-old was there, and for a long time I had a lot of guilt that I didn't hold it together for my kid. And I kept looking at the Empire State Building. We have a view of the entire city, and I kept thinking that was next. And we kept running down to my apartment, running back up, running back down, and I actually was on the roof of my building with binoculars seeing the building, the first tower collapse. And that, it's the unthinkable is happening before your eyes. It's like the way I tell people about it is that it was like being in the backseat of a car accident, of a car about to be in a car accident, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. And it's still flying back to New York. I just started flying a couple months ago again. It took me a long time to get on a plane, and I was thinking, I can't believe they're gone. I can't believe they're gone. We used to go there a lot. My son was there all summer long. They did summer concert series outside on the promenade. He was there every Tuesday during the summer. We would go to dinner at Windows on the World all the time. We spent July 4th at Windows on the World. We have pictures of us it's still unimaginable that happened. It just doesn't seem real. And we know people. One of our staff members here was a firefighter. He perished, and his wife is left with a 1-year-old son. It's unthinkable, but you try to move on. You try to really. I started becoming more spiritual and living my days to the fullest, appreciating what I have, and it really makes you think about Americans and America and the responsibility that we have to other countries and our foreign policy, and it brings up all these other issues that you really start to think about.
We're here today to see how people have got over the adversity of September the 11th, but the difficulty I'm having is explaining the enormity of these buildings. I was here a year ago, almost to the day, and I can't describe how big those buildings were in comparison to everything else that's enormous in New York. Yeah,
it's true. We saw it from our apartment, which is down. We were about a little over a mile, about a mile from the site, and it looks, it's huge. But then I drove by, I think it was a month later, I went to the memorial service for this firefighter that died, and we had to drive through there, and I was with 2 detectives. You couldn't get through at that point. You needed special passes, and you needed to be a cop or something to get through. So we had to drive through the site to get to the tunnel. And you cannot, it's city blocks. And I had no interest in seeing. I didn't want to get close. I feel like I saw enough already on the 11th, but we did drive through it, and I couldn't believe how much bigger it looks when you're down there. It's really a strange thing, and all these tourists coming and going down there to look, and it's weird. It's weird. It's like, I don't know. I just feel for the survivors and for the families of the victims. It's just horrible torture.
How did you cope on air? Were you on air at the time, the following day or weeks after?
No. We couldn't tape for a few weeks. I believe for at least 2 weeks. And there were bomb scares happening in our office building. And, the city was shut down. It was like a snow day without snow. The National Guard was called in where we lived, and you couldn't get through without major identification, passports and stuff like that. We couldn't work, and that was the last thing on my mind was working. As a matter of fact, I thought it'd be really difficult to do this again after this happened, after the world changed.
Following, sooner or later you did end up back on the air though, and just very quickly, I know you're pushed for time, but how did you react on air when you got back on air? Because people were looking for a reaction from you, weren't they?
Yeah, I think we did a show on not necessarily the world. We did a show on racism, and we had Arab Americans on talking about the experience that they're going through now. We have to always make it relatable for our audience, and so that's what we tried to do. We did not want to exploit anybody, but we wanted to basically tell the story from the eyes of an Arab American. And we also had another firefighter that works on our staff that actually was down there and survived. He ran for his life, and he actually got out, and he told his story, and we dedicated to the show to Chris, the guy that didn't make it. And in the end, you start thinking about, why am I here? What is this all about? What's the big, picture? And, at the time, the way I got through it is thinking, okay, this is a way for at least our audience to get their minds off of the big picture and what's going on. And this is entertainment. This is, fluff in a lot of ways. And so to do that, maybe that there is, something good in that we're doing something to help people get through this time.
Very finally, I know New York will never be the same again, but do you think it is returning to some form of normality?
Yes, I do think that. Yes, I think every New Yorker and even people who visit here think about this all the time, and just seeing the towers of light, I guess is what they're calling it. It's just so powerful. We think about it, it's still on our minds. Maybe we're still even afraid, but you know what? We are resilient, we bounce back, and we get on with our lives. And I think that's what we need to do.
Ricki Lake, it's been an honour and a pleasure talking to you today. Thank you so much for agreeing to do this for us, live from New York here on the BBC. And thank you for making us smile, because there's some wonderful programmes you do, and your titles as well are absolutely marvellous. Ricki Lake, thank you.
Thank you very much.